Hi everyone, it's Tracy here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to talk about I'm going to basically start with my whole mum journey. So I had my daughter when I was 23 years old. She was born in November, 4th of November. So basically I had my daughter as a cesarean section. So basically the whole story started when I was pregnant. Literally I had the worst pregnancy ever. And it was my first pregnancy, and it was literally the worst pregnancy ever. So I was vomiting throughout the whole pregnancy from day one up until after I had my daughter. You know, when people have or people get pregnant and they show their belly and they eat junk food, they eat everything, they literally, it wasn't like that for me. I literally had a sick ball every single day, and I was just going brah 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 every day. Anyway, so fast forward to I had my baby at 39 weeks 5 days. So I remember I got to a point after like 38 weeks, it got to a point that I literally just wanted her out. I could not deal with pregnancy anymore. I was sick, I was tired, I could not move, I was swollen everywhere. It was so bad, literally so bad, to the point that I researched about primrose oil. So I started taking primrose oil. Apparently it softens your cervix. So I started taking those, and I started getting contractions. So I remember we went to the hospital. Like, I was literally like grabbing hold of everything that I could, because I could not walk. I was screaming, I'm in pain, everything. And then the nurse, like, they greeted me at the door, and they're like, oh yeah, we can see you're in labor, come and lie down, let's measure your cervix. So I lay down, they popped their finger in there, and she was like, oh, it's only 1 centimeter, you have to go back home. I was like, what? Anyway, long story short, I went home, came back the following day screaming and shouting in pain. Same thing, they're like, you're literally 1.5 to 2, so just go home and literally labor at home and come back when the pain gets unbearable. Third day, I told my little sister this child needs to come out. So my sister was like, okay, let's get on the Wii and do exercises. Hopefully the baby will drop, and then baby will come quickly. So we did Wii literally the following day. It was literally the best time, because it took my mind off the pain, everything. It was brilliant. But at the end of the day, I was so tired, I was so weak, I was so sick, and I was in so much pain. So we went back to the hospital, and they said you're 4 centimeters dilated. So 4 centimeters here in England, or well, in my hospital, they can't admit you if you want to be admitted, or if you want to go home to labor a bit more and come back. That is up to you. But I just told them, you know what, I want to stay in hospital, because obviously it's the best place, isn't it? Anyway, so B stayed in hospital, and literally this was me like, I'm in pain, and I'm only 4 centimeters. So they asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I was like, yes, bring it. And my mom was like, no, Tracy, no, don't take epidural. And I'm like, nope, I'm taking epidural. Literally, you can't, it's me. I'm taking epidural. So I took the epidural. I had gas and air. It was literally the most beautiful thing. And then obviously epidural, after that I could not mobilize. So the midwife would usually be sitting at the bottom of the bed, and she burst my waters, and she kept measuring and measuring and measuring. I got up to about 8 centimeters, no pain, no nothing, no fuss, no anything, up to 8 centimeters. And then after that, literally 8 centimeters gone on for 2 days. 2 days, guys. And it got to a point that my water had been broken for quite a long time. So the consultant, or whatever she was, came and said, you know what, you need to go to theatres to get the baby out, C-section. And obviously I was excited. I'm like, you know what, the baby's coming out, I do not care how she comes out as long as she's out. So we went to theatres, we got ready, everything. My mum came with me to theatres, and I got cut and the baby came out. So at the time that I had my daughter, when I was pregnant, during my pregnancy, I got Bartholin's cyst. do not ask how it came. So I got a baffling cyst, and while I was pregnant, I was told that obviously because I'm pregnant, they cannot put me under anesthetics. Seriously, as a nurse, you would think I would know how to pronounce that. I cannot pronounce it. I was put under, I could not be put under anesthetic. So they said after I had my baby, they're going to operate and remove that. So when they took the baby out, they did the operation right there and then on the table before, you know. So when they took it out, the doctor said, the surgeon or whoever she was said they're going to give me antibiotics to, you know, cover that, just so I do not, you know, if it's infected or, you know, whatever, I do not get an infection. And apparently after you get cut, you don't get antibiotics anyway. And I'm thinking, you've been cut open, like it's a very major surgery, so you should actually get a cover, like, you know, start dose of antibiotics. But apparently you don't when you have a baby. But because I had a cyst, I was supposed to have antibiotics, but nobody prescribed me antibiotics and nobody gave me antibiotics. Anyway, fast forward, had my baby, and literally all the medication wore off me, and I was in so much pain. All they could give you was like paracetamol and stuff, because obviously you don't want it to cross the breast milk barrier. So all you're literally taking is silly painkillers. That's not going to do anything for you. Anyway, so, you know, dealing with the pain and everything, I got onto the ward, and this lady that was laying opposite me told me that if you want to go home early, let them take the catheter out. So mobilize as much as you can, obviously feed your baby and get them to take the catheter out, and then hopefully you pass, you know, 3 urines, and then you can go home if you're well enough. So obviously I want to go home. I want to, you know, put my baby in all the amazing clothes that I've bought her at home, take all the pictures and everything that you can possibly take. So I, you know, got up, mobilized everything, did everything. They took the catheter out. I peed 3 times. I was ready to go home. And then obviously breastfeeding, I thought breastfeeding was literally, that's another video, because oh my Jesus Christ, it was literally the most horrible thing anyway, or the most horrible experience for me personally. So I was discharged and I came home, and first day at home I felt a bit sicky, but obviously I was excited. I have a new baby at home, everybody's coming to visit. It's that, you know, exciting time that, you know, it's almost like that doll that, you know, everybody wants to see and play with. So, you know, I had so many visitors at home, so it was nice. Following day, you know, a couple of visitors and all that, but then I started feeling very, very sick. And when it was obviously November, so it was very cold, and when people come and they're like, oh, look at your stomach, because my stomach when I was pregnant was so big. Literally when I walk into a room, my stomach comes first before the body follows. Anyway, so I still had that little tummy when after I had her, and everybody was like, oh, look at your tummy, it would go. So when people touched my stomach, I could not feel anything on my tummy. And this was a Saturday, and then a Sunday I started shivering. I was so cold. One minute I was so hot, the other minute I was vomiting. I was very, very, very sick. So on the Monday I went to see my doctors, and I told my doctor, you know what, I am very sick, number one. Number two, I can't feel anything, you know, from underneath here to, you know, where I was cut. I cannot feel anything at all. Like if you touch it, I don't feel your hand touching me. And the doctor was like, oh yeah, obviously you've been cut, it's a major surgery, so it's going to feel numb for a little while until, you know. I was like, okay. So I got home and I still started vomiting. I still had that rigor feeling, you know. Yeah. And I called my GP and I was like, no, this is not normal. This just feels, there's something off. I don't feel well. And this was about, what, like 5:30ish, and I think my GP closes at 6 or 7, I don't know. And the GP was like, well, it's too late now. You can come tomorrow for some bloods to be taken. And I was like, nope, my mom is a nurse. She's a district nurse, so obviously she has all these, you know, blood sets and everything in her obviously sterile, of course, in her car. So I'm just gonna get her to take the bloods. You tell me what you want to be taken and print them out. We will take the bloods, and then we will come and get the form to send it. So the doctor said okay. So she did everything, and then did it as urgent blood. So literally my mum got to the GP surgery right on time when the delivery person that collects the bloods come to collect it. So she got there right at that time for them to take it. So she took it, they took it off, and the next day my GP called me and said, I'm calling an ambulance for you because your infection markers are so high that you need to go to hospital to get IV antibiotics. So my mom was like, nope, she's not going in an ambulance, I'll drive her. So my mom took me to the hospital, and when I got there, obviously everybody is busy. I understand. I work in the hospital. It can't get so busy that sometimes one person will feel like they're being ignored, which is not the case, because there's so many other people that are needing, you know, a lot of things. I know. Sat there, and then about 2 hours later, we left home to get to the hospital at 9, because I got the phone call at 7 o'clock. We got there at 9, and I got a bed at 5:30 in the evening. So got a bed on the ward, and then they gave me my first antibiotics then after I got in the bed. And then obviously, because I have a 3-4 day old baby, they provided everything for, you know, the baby as well to stay with me, because I was breastfeeding her at that time. And then they started me on antibiotics, and I started questioning, is it okay for me to breastfeed her with the antibiotics? I don't know. And anyway, I was still breastfeeding her, so had the first course of antibiotics, and then that was around 5:30, and then around 8 o'clock, around 9:30, 10ish, that time the night staff had come on. So I was breastfeeding my baby, and I was gonna put her on her, you know, that little tap, that baby cot thing that they give you in hospital. I was gonna put her in there, so I was about to get up, and I could smell something really bad, like something really foul. So I thought my daughter had opened her bowels, and I checked her nappy, and there was nothing in there. So I popped her in the cot, and as I was standing, I could feel something just gush out of me. So I paused a little bit, and I was like, oh my god. But obviously, because I've got her in my hand, I was panicking. I just got up anyway and put her in the cot, and then I looked at myself, and literally there was blood, literally just push. It was literally like gushing. It was not even just trickling or anything. It was just gushing out of my you know, TMI private area, and from the wound as well. And literally that foul smell was literally the blood that was, it had filled my bed. And as I got up, I could feel it actually coming, because initially sitting down, my baby on top of me and breastfeeding, I don't know, I'm thinking that because of the contractions it dislodged the clot, so it just started gushing. That is what I'm thinking. So I called the bell, I pressed the bell, and one of the healthcare assistants came, and she literally ran out to call the nurse, and the nurse came, and she was like, it was an agency nurse, and she was like, oh, it's nothing, it's just normal when you have a baby. So she just clean, and then she's like, get on the bed again and just, you know, go to sleep kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay. So the next day I got reviewed, and I told the doctors, and obviously because they hadn't seen the amount of blood that had come out, they were like, oh, okay, you know, when you have a baby, and I don't know any different. When you have a baby, apparently you bleed a lot. So I was like, okay, you know what, that's why people have those massive incontinent pads as diaper pads, as a, you know, pad. Anyway, so fast forward, second night I had that same nurse, and I had another gush of blood, and she still did not, you know, bother. So the third day I had a different nurse, and she was like, no, you're wetting, she gave me one of those normal pads that after you have a baby you put on. This wasn't incontinent pads, this was like a normal thick pad that you have after you have a baby. And literally it was soaking wet after every half an hour or so. And so the nurse called the doctor and was like, you know what, she's bleeding a lot. And the doctor was like, oh, if she's not soaking up, you know, a pad for in an hour, then, and the nurse was like, nope, the pad is getting wet every half an hour, so she's usually using 2 every hour, and it's literally soaking to the point that when you hold it up like that, it's literally just, it's just wet, it's saturated. So the doctors came, and they were like, okay, they took my bloods and everything, and they said my HP was low, so they gave me some bloods. And then literally the blood was not stopping, so they took me back to theatres, and then they popped a balloon, like water-filled balloon, in my womb, in my uterus, to hold it in. And apparently what that does is that if there is like, if, you know, something is, it basically stops it holds the womb in, so it stops the bleeding wherever it's coming from. So that was actually the intention. And they put that in, and then they put it in for I think a day or 2 or 3 days or so, and then they took it out, and the intention was it would have, whatever it was would have healed at that time, or would, you know, start healing, so I would not be bleeding. They took it out and they were like, okay, you need to pass 3 urines and to make sure that there's no blood in those 3 urines, and then if there isn't, then you are okay, or, you know, it means something is getting better, whatever it was. So first urine, nothing was in there, it was nice, exciting. Second urine, it was fine. Third urine, there was a bit of like a blood clot in there, in the urine when I passed it, and I told the nurse, and she was like, oh, it's fine, you know, obviously you've been bleeding a lot, so, you know, it's fine. I was like, okay. Obviously, I've got a baby, I've got better priorities. Well, I know I'm a priority as well, but I have a newborn baby, so I was thinking, you know what, let me just go cuddle my baby and I will be fine. And then that evening, the blood started coming again, literally non-stop. It was so bad. And I got taken back to theatres again, and I don't know if they thought there was still placenta in there, that, you know, so they went and they did like an DNC or so, like, so they literally scraped everything out of my uterus to make sure that there is nothing in there, or, you know, no baby products. But then it doesn't make sense. If I have had a cesarean section, I should not really have placenta in my uterus anyway, because it would be taken out. Everything would be, obviously it's been open, so you would take it out properly. I know if you have natural birth, it can sometimes tear or erupt, and then, you know, there'll be some left in there. But anyway, they still did the DNC anyway, hoping for the best, and then took me back to the wards. The whole day I was okay, and then in the evening I got up and I felt like I needed to wee, so I was holding, you know, when you hold yourself to not pee on yourself, I was actually holding myself at that point, like in the bed. So I got up to try and, you know, I'm trying to get up to go to the toilet, and literally the blood that gushed out made me feel faint, so I literally just went like on the floor. So I saw one of the student nurses literally walking past, and I called her, and I'm like, you know what, I can't reach the call bell, can you help me? And this was in the middle of the night, so the lights in the ward was off. So she went around looking for the light switch. So she turns the light switch on, and this is me literally laying in a pool of blood. And she didn't even press the crash bell. She ran out and called people. So this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So everybody literally came. They cleaned me up and everything, and they took me straight up to this like high dependency unit kind of thing. And then I was told that I'm going to go have my uterus out. So sign the document. Literally was like, sign it. And I'm like, no, this is me screaming, like, no, you know, it's my only child, I want more children, blah, 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 so I'm not going to sign it. And the doctor was like, can you just, what did he say? He said, can you just stop it and just sign it, like I'm being too dramatic? And I'm thinking, this is my life, and you're just telling me to just, you know, get on with it, like, you know, it's bread and butter. I'm like, oh my God. So eventually, after my cries and cries and cries, I signed it, because I was still gushing out. I was still gushing out, and I had to sign something to say, okay, I'm going to theatre to get something done. So me crying and wasting time is me bleeding a lot more. So literally, I had all the cannulas, literally the big gauge cannulas, like the grays and everything. Literally, I was literally awake like this, and I was normally you see those in them as you're going to theatres after they put you to sleep. They put these cannulas in. I had it in whilst I was awake, because they needed to push a lot of blood in me, because I was just, you know, gushing throughout. And then I got taken to theatres. I was in theatres. I was in the theatre. I was on the table around 3:30, and then I remember I asked one of the theatre assistants that, you know what, what's going on? Why am I still on the table, and, you know, nothing is being done, and I'm still bleeding? And literally you could see all the blood hanging, literally so many bloods and FFPs, plasmas, all hanging on the it's like these big machines that are just squeezing the bloods in through the cannulas that were all over. And I was thinking, why am I, you know, still awake? Why am I still here and nobody's doing anything? And I got told that the consultant said that I am too young, so they're trying to figure out what other plan or what other, you know, what else they can do for me so that I don't have to have my uterus out. So actually it took a very long time. I remember I was on the table for so long, and it was a hard table, and I was facing the wall that way, and the door and everybody else was from, you know, from this side up to the door, like that. So anybody that had to come and talk to me has to jump a pool of blood, and you could literally see them jumping. Like I could see them jumping the blood to come and talk to me, to see me, to talk to me, and then they jump it again to go and do whatever they were doing or whatever they are doing, I don't know. So after a while they decided on what to do. They didn't tell me what they were going to do, but then they just put me to sleep, and then, you know, I went off to sleep. So the last thing I heard was, she's gonna go to ITU after this, book a bed. That was the last thing I heard until I fell asleep. And then I woke up in ITU, and I literally my neck was like that. I was literally in bed like this, because I had the central line in, I had cannulas everywhere, I had drains everywhere, and that nasty ass catheter. I had everything in. It was the worst time of my life. And these times, thank God, my mom came to pick my baby after the whole incident of me bleeding. I was like, you know what, if I've actually got an infection, I don't want my baby to be in hospital with me, so take my baby. So my baby started bottle around that time, a couple of days, you know, old. She started using bottle and formula because I was not well enough to look after her and breastfeed her. So anyway, I woke up in ITU, and I remember they were taking the intubation thing out, and if you get up on it, you feel like, oh, I can't breathe. And then she was like, calm down, calm down, calm down. Like one of the nurses was like, calm down, calm down. So I calmed down, and they took everything out. You know, I remember I could feel something. It was the most weird experience, but I could feel something until they took everything out and they woke me up properly. And then the lady was like, oh my God, you literally have fresh new blood in you. Literally your own blood is finished. You have fresh new blood in you. And I was like, wait, what do you mean by that? Like, you know, but that's a you know, a totally different thing. Anyway, so I woke up in ITU, and literally the nurses that looked after me in ITU, oh my God, they are the best. Literally, when you, I feel like that was the only point in time that I felt like I was in safe hands. That was the only point in my whole hospital journey that I felt like I was in safe hands, when I was in ITU. They were amazing, totally amazing, and you know they know what they're doing. It was amazing. And then I think I stayed in ITU for 2 days or 3 days, and then they had to step me down, and I had a PCA pump as well. So they had to step me down. So they stepped me down, and I remember they said there's no beds in HDU, so they're gonna take me to back to the ward, but they need to just monitor me. So what they so I asked them, you know, like what was causing the whole bleeding thing. And apparently when I had the cesarean, well, what I was told is that when I had the cesarean, they think that after I had that Bartholin cyst removed, they think the infection traveled up and it eroded one of the arteries that feeds the womb. So the womb started getting necrotic, and it started dying. Like a bit of the tissues of my womb started getting necrotic and, you know, dying. So they had to cut the dead part, stitch it together, and stitch the artery together that supplies the womb with blood and oxygen. I think when they were cutting, me to take the baby out, I think they cut something, and that is what caused that whole. Sorry, my jumper has caught my piercing. Anyway, so I think that's what happened. I think they cut something, but they don't want to admit that they cut something. So they said it's the infection that's traveled. Okay, it's infection. Did you give me antibiotics? No. Did they tell me I was going to get antibiotics? Yes, but I didn't. So, you know, that's... Anyway, so after that, I got taken to the ward, and I know that on the ward they leave your bedside notes there with you, and on that ward they actually leave your drug chart as well by your bedside. So I took my drug chart and I was looking through it. I know it's naughty, I'm usually not supposed to. I started looking through it, and then I realized that I had 22 bags of blood plus loads of plasma, and you know, so many blood products. I had so many blood products, and I was thinking, damn, if I was in Africa I would be dead if I was in this situation in Africa, because Africa, how are you gonna get 22 bags of blood? How anyway, so that is what happened. And on the ward I had so much drama as well on the ward that it got to a point that I was so sick and tired of being in hospital and people not listening to me and I'm suffering, that I literally I threw a fit and I gave it to all the doctors. And I know it's not nice, because these are the people that, you know, are looking after. They're supposed to trust you, they're supposed to, you know, listen to you. And it was bad. They made me feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, and it pissed me off, and I was so upset throughout that whole hospital experience. So literally it traumatized me for life. If I want to wee, I had to literally hold my wee, because I felt like if I go to the toilet I'm going to gush out with blood. So I literally did not want to even go sit in the toilet to pee. It was that bad. It traumatized me for so long. I would be sleeping, I would, you know, just jump out of my sleep thinking, oh my god, I'm bleeding. It was the most horrible experience ever. But anyway, yeah. And when I was in ITU, obviously ITU do not accept babies or children or anything, so there was another couple of days that I did not see my baby at all, which literally it was the most hardest thing. But yeah, at least, you know, I came out of it and I'm healthy now. I've still got my uterus in my womb vein, so I can have more babies. So I think, yeah, so anyway, that is the reason why I think my baby now, well, she's not a baby anymore, she's 3 years old, but she is literally the most spoiled child, because I've babied her so much. Because, you know, it's that thing of, I had the worst experience with her, you know, having her, so I don't want to miss anything, and I want her to be spoiled, and I want her to be rotten, and I want her to be, you know, but I think now it's getting into her head, because she doesn't want to do anything, and she's 3 years old and she still drinks out of the bottle, which that is the little story about me having my little daughter. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.